So I've been enjoying the hell out of Blue Protocol Star Resonance, and I think a lot of other people have too. If you look at the Steam database and Steam charts, you can see there's a lot of people playing it right now. Actually, I can just pull this up real quick. As you can see, 69,000 people online right now. Very nice. There was 94K peak 4 days ago. The game just came out 4 days ago, so that's pretty good, right? And the thing that's really interesting about this is only on Steam. This isn't even counting their own launcher, which probably adds more, and on mobile, which adds a lot more players. So I'm expecting the real number of peak players is probably higher than 250K, and I would say the active players is probably around 200K right now. Maybe a little bit less, but there are a lot of people online. And you can tell because every single line you go to, there's just tons of people everywhere. Every time you go to farm a world boss, the lines are full. There's so many people in one place fighting one thing that my game starts lagging, and I'm running a 4090 in my computer. So things are going really well for this game. It's having a very successful launch. However, if you see right here, it actually looks like there's a ridiculous amount of negative reviews, and I'll actually just go to Steam too, because that shows a little bit better. If we look at Steam, it has mixed reviews. It says 49% of the 6,705 user reviews in your language are positive, so a little less than half. And what's even crazier is if we look at this and we filter it by playtime with over 5 hours played, a majority of them are positive. What does that mean? It means Star Resonance has been getting review bombed. This is post-VOD Brax here because I realized I forgot to take a look at the Google Play Store, and I just want to show you guys 4.4 stars on Google Play, 9,000 reviews, 500,000 downloads from the Play Store. This game is doing great, and overwhelmingly, the reception has been very positive from people that have actually taken the time to play it. Granted, obviously mobile gamers are going to be a little bit more used to the monetization model of this game, right? But even just from the perspective of the average Joe looking into this game and whether or not it's worth playing, if you look at the Steam reviews, you're going to be like, what the hell is going on? But then if you look at the Play Store reviews, it looks very good. It looks like everyone's enjoying it. There's a duality going on here. But yeah, before we continue any of this, I gotta read you this ad, so cue the ad, editor. This video is sponsored by Stella Sora, a brand new action RPG from Yostar, the same team behind Azur Lane, Arknights, and Blue Archive. In Stella Sora, you wake up as the Tyrant, an amnesiac in a fractured world called Nova, where fantasy meets retro. With no memory, no allies, and a world full of secrets, your only hope lies in the Trekkers, playable characters who fight, explore, and uncover the truth alongside you. Stella Sora has tons of varied game modes, including roguelike gameplay, bullet hells, and limitless battles, and it's all via entering a procedurally generated monolith. When you actually enter the monolith, combat is polished, quick, and strategic. You'll choose 3 of your favorite Trekkers to team up with, dodge enemy attacks, activate special skills, and adapt your playstyle with randomized perks and abilities. It's a great blend of tight, roguelike gameplay with gorgeous anime visuals, deep character interactions, and a shifting story based on the decisions that you make. If you pre-register now, you can get exclusive rewards. Feel free to join pre-registration by using my link down below in the description and pinned comment. Build new bonds, uncover your past, and shape the future of Nova in Stella Sora. So let's go look at these reviews and let's filter it. So let's say minimum hours, no minimum. A lot of people do have some hours played that have some legitimate reviews, and I honestly don't really have a big problem with this. But what I do have a big problem with is the amount of people that are coming into my chat and they're like unsure of whether or not they should play the game because this game has been clearly review bombed. So I want to talk about why everyone kind of hates this game and what's real and what's not. If we go through here and we just look at some reviews, you can see some are legit. Like there's some that are like, yeah, why all the time gates and life skill gates? Like I think that's a fair criticism. I think it's annoying when a game time gates things right off the bat. I really don't like it. And I understand why people don't like that either, because you'd rather just play the game. But whatever, like for me personally, I just don't really care because I'm having fun on the game. And I think that's like the thought process of a lot of people on the game. It's like, yeah, would you prefer no time gate? Sure, but like, is that really stopping you from enjoying the game that much? Not really. Like, I'm still enjoying it. But if we scroll through it, this one just says it's just bad. They have 26 hours, so maybe they just didn't like it. But there were some reviews I saw earlier that were like, just I'm not gonna cope and say time gate's good, guys. I think time gate's still bullshit. Time gate's still fucking bullshit. Like, I think it's bad. So here we go. Here's some reviews that you can see here. Lazy asset flip, pay to win cash grab with okay combat. I don't know where the asset flip came from because it's like legit that own IP. Well, I guess they bought the IP from a Japanese company and they were like, hey, we want to make this game into a mobile version. And then the Japanese game ended because they up astronomically. But I don't think asset flip's a legit thing to call it. If you think it's pay to win cash grab, that's okay. I understand the issues with pay to win. I think that there's way too many shops in this game. But I think this 1.4 hours I'd pay to get my time back. They have no valid criticism at all. They just want to get their time back. Okay, great. Why? What happened? What went wrong? That's all. Nothing. I'd pay to get my time back. They just didn't like it. Okay, great. Gameplay is meh. Devs put too much effort in generating money. I think that's a fair review. I think that if you're focused on the pay to win aspects of the game and you're not focusing enough on the gameplay, that's pretty bad. But I will say that as someone that's been playing this for a few days, who played it in CN before and who played the beta in CN and the beta in NA, like the game is enjoyable despite the monetization, right? And I have a completely free to play no poll account on the CN servers, which I've just been really enjoying. I've been able to clear all the content that I've tried to. The only issues is I couldn't find groups because I don't speak Chinese, right? So that gives you some issues. But other than that, I think it's fine, right? Like I think that the monetization in it is not ideal, but it's not something that takes away from the gameplay in a significant way. You can still play the game and enjoy it plenty. Other than an actually good character creator where you can change player height, I've really disliked my experience. Okay, so this person doesn't like the cutscenes. They don't like the audio issues. They think the gameplay needs more fleshing out. The mounts suck. They think the fishing minigame explains so much in the tutorial and you think it'd be good, but then it's just Stardew. And this game feels like it's trying to be Genshin Impact, but the story beats are half-baked and the English translations have errors and incorrect translations. And worst of all, Steam can't even reach the devs, so players can't request it with your funds. So here's the thing. There's a lot of people that are very focused on this being like Genshin Impact. And I'm just gonna be real. Ever since Genshin Impact came out, anytime an anime open world game comes out, it gets review bombed instantly with it, like right on release. And I wish I could go back in time and only show you reviews from those first few days. I don't know if am I just retarded? Like I genuinely can't figure out if there's a way to do that. Instantly this game had negative reviews, and if you looked at those reviews, I saw a few of them earlier today. I couldn't find them again because, you know, I have to make a video, so naturally they're not going to show up now. Of course, failed to retrieve server list, bad game. It's like if Genshin was made by ChatGPT. Genshin Rails 0 third. Yeah, like they're just like, oh yeah guys, they copied all the Hoyoverse genuine delusion, right? They're just reviews of people saying like Genshin clone. And the craziest part is this game was being developed and announced before Genshin Impact was. Like this game had been in development for a very long time. The problem is that people don't know that because it never ended up releasing in the West. If you go back and you look for the first whispers of this game, like 2015, 2016, people were hyped about it and it got more and more hype. And half the reason Genshin even popped off was because people were waiting for Blue Protocol to release in the West, but it just got delayed because they wanted to focus on Gundam or whatever over at Bandai Namco. Surprise, Bandai makes terrible choices with their games for some reason. I'll never understand why. But this game, its existence was prior to Genshin's. So everyone saying it's a Genshin clone has no idea what they're talking about. Now, with that said, the Chinese release of this game, you guys know how games can be over in China. They tend to take things from other games and be pretty blatant about it, right? There are some things that are in this game that were not in the original that, yeah, you could argue are Genshin clones or whatever. But this game actually was an original concept before Genshin. And I think people comparing it to Genshin don't really have any legs to stand on for their criticism. I do think that if you don't like the music, if you don't like the cutscenes, that's subjective, right? You can hate that. But the Genshin comparison, it's stupid. It's uneducated. People haven't bothered to look into it. Let's see funny reviews, chat. 1.6 hours. Cured my long-term insomnia by being insufferably boring. Okay. 1.6 hours, 0.7 hours, 0.6 hours. The funniest reviews tend to be the ones with the least playtime. Oh my God. Wait, this is all the EU people. Another one of the main reasons people got upset about this game is because the servers are based in North America, but it also is an EU server game. I think that's also kind of a valid criticism. Like, yeah, that shouldn't be a thing, but like to say the game's bad because that's where the server's at, it's just kind of wrong, right? Like, yeah, okay, maybe it's not as enjoyable over in EU because you like lag or whatever, but also I know plenty of people in EU who have no problems with this, who have the same ping as me. So I kind of feel like it's a person by person basis. Should they add a server in to EU? Absolutely. Like having one server is a mistake, right? But like, come on, that doesn't mean the game's And another reason that people are upset about it is because Southeast Asia can't play, which again, I think is like, yeah, okay, fair. You can be upset. That doesn't make the game though. Leaving a negative review on Steam doesn't tell them to release it in Southeast Asia. It doesn't do anything, right? Like you're just making other people not want to play the game because you're upset that you can't play, which I think is also stupid, right? Like, yeah, it's valid to be upset. I wish that Southeast Asia could play too, but like, does that make the game bad? No. Like, I don't say Honor of Kings is a game because it's popular in China, right? Like that's not how that works. I want a refund on the free-to-play game. Less than 2 hours played. WoW killer. Wait, that's actually okay. That's funny as It's the WoW killer, chat. This is 0.8 hours on record. Not fun. No desire to log in. A bunch of my friends are playing it. Hate pay to win games. I play MMOs. I don't know what it is about this one. It just wasn't fun. Yeah, it's not for everyone. This one hates monetization. Not good. 2 hours on file. Great. So many people are fake adding credibility to their reviews too, right? Because you go look at like stuff like this, 87 hours on record. Guys, the game has not been out that long. The game has been out for 4 days, not even a full 24. It hasn't even been out for a full like 96 hours. 87 hours? Yeah, bull fucking they leave the game open, right? And it adds credibility to their review. Just sleep 1 hour a day. True. Just play Throne and Liberty is insane, by the way. Throne and Liberty has worse monetization than this game 1,000-fold, but whatever, man. The game's mid. Combat's mid, story's mid, the graphics are mid. There's no reason to play this game. Let me set. Well, this is probably the most legitimate review anyone's given to this, but I think he's given it a solid 3 out of 10, which I think is being pretty harsh. That's crazy though. Okay, you know, props to this person for actually putting in the time and writing a review. So overall, like, if you look at all of these, can't connect to the servers, 0.1 hours on, okay, that checks out, you couldn't connect. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend this game doesn't have horrible monetization, because it does, right? But like, despite that, it's very enjoyable, right? And I think a lot of people feel that way, because if you look at the Steam charts, there are a lot of people playing this. New World just came out with a brand new DLC, and I think it's free. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure the DLC, they said if you own the game, it's free. And their player base, if you go look at New World, they had a much higher peak, right? They almost had 1 million players peak. But we're looking at players right now and 24-hour peak. They have like 41,000. And then that's with an expansion. That's with an expansion, chat. So this game's doing really well for its launch, like especially considering the fact that there are so many anime games on the market and so many things that are trying to compete for this spot of anime MMO now with Tower of Fantasy and with Crystal of Atlan. It's doing really great. And there's a reason why it's doing great. And there's also another reason why, if you look at a majority of the reviews of people who have played for more than like 4 hours, it's positive. It's mostly positive. It's because the people that are actually putting time into the game are realizing, yeah, despite the monetization being absolute dog, and they should absolutely fix it, because if they did, this game would be 100 times better, but it's fun despite that. And I think that's what a lot of people are just not willing, like, they're not willing to give the game a chance because they see the Steam reviews of people that never actually gave the game a chance to begin with, and they just on it. Yeah, and there's some valid Steam reviews of people saying, yeah, I don't like this thing about the game. You know, I don't like the fact that there are Chinese things in the game like stamina, like a gacha, and time gaining. That's valid. I hate a lot too, right? I think it's annoying as f, but the game is enjoyable enough for me to where I'm gonna play it anyways. What part of the monetization bothers you? I just ignore it. I think the fact that there is such aggressive monetization in your gear progression is just annoying. I think that in any MMO, you should not be able to pay for any power at all. It should be strictly cosmetic. As soon as you add pay for power to any online game, it instantly becomes like a whole tier lower worth of a game. Any game where they put pay for power in, they make it so that you have to have an incentive to pay for power. What that means is they put a limited amount of things that you can get for your character progression because they want you to spend, right? So they limit the amount you can do to make the most money on that. If they put a gacha in the game, they have to limit your drops. If they let you farm dungeons unlimited for gear, then they have to put something in to enhance your gear that is limited, so that way you can't just grind it out. That's the annoying shit. That's why pay for power is annoying, and that's what bothers me about it, because if they simply didn't have it in the game, it'd be 10 times better, 100 times better. Regardless, if you look at the reviews, a majority of them are just, if they're negative, it was either 1, a review bomb, 2, someone who just hates anime shit, because that's a thing that happens everywhere, or 3, someone that's disgruntled with the monetary mechanics of the game. And I think the monetization one is fair, but let's be honest, like, the other it just doesn't even matter, right? There's gacha tribalism has found its way to an anime MMORPG that wasn't even trying to compete with Genshin, and it's just so goddamn irritating. If we look at the minimum of 4 hours, and we don't just filter by negative, 69% of user reviews 4 hours over are positive. If we go even higher, obviously it's going to get more positive the more hours you have, because the more hours you have, the more you enjoyed the game to begin with, right? So very positive. If you've played over 20 hours, 82% of them are positive reviews. But yeah, it's just a bummer because the review bombing is turning a lot of people away from the game. Now, with that said, I do think, like, yeah, there's some validity to the monetization. It's annoying as I get you, but like, it's a free game, right? You can enjoy it. You can say, hey, these things are good about the game and these things are bad about the game. A lot of the people that think the game's combat is bad haven't gotten to experience what it's like to be in an endgame raid or fight bosses with actual mechanics. Most of the people that think combat's bad didn't even get high enough level to get all your abilities unlocked or don't understand the inner mechanisms and inner workings of the abilities. I think what it comes down to is people hate Blue Protocol Star Resonance for a few different reasons. One is gacha tribalism. Oh God, another anime game's entering the space? Well, that Genshin Impact's better. 2, monetization. Sounds actually fair. 3, well, maybe it's just not for them. A lot of people don't like anime MMOs, and some people don't like the actual gameplay core mechanics. But those are the people that should be writing the reviews, not the people that have not played the game, right? Play the game, make your judgment, and then write a review. Don't play the game for 4 minutes and go, yeah, this is dog. I'm not saying this is all Genshin players, by the way, but you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Wuwa got the treatment, Tower of Fantasy got the treatment, Crystal of Outline got the treatment. I'm trying to think of like what other anime games can compete with this, but God, people even said HSR was at launch. I remember being one of the only content creators that was saying good things about HSR, and before HSR came out, I was like, this game's amazing. And then people changed their tune when they started playing it. The thing is, you have to try the game. Like, if you just let everyone who's saying bad about the game, a free game, by the way, steer you in one way or the other, you're gonna be unhappy. If the game's not free, then yeah, like don't spend $60 on something everyone's saying is bad. But like if the game is free, it's a shame that this is what gaming has come to, and what specifically anime gaming has come to, because I don't see this happen as much in other games. I really don't. I think MMO players are generally disgruntled because yeah, we haven't had a good MMO release in 10 years minimum, right? Like it's been such a long time since we had a good MMO release that does not have overly aggressive monetization. But that doesn't mean you can't like enjoy everything for a little bit. Everyone enjoyed Lost Ark at launch. Not anymore, but like I feel like a lot of those people didn't really have anything better to do. They're playing Lost Ark because they're having fun, and games are about having fun at the end of the day. So with all that being said, guys, I don't know. I think a lot of the hatred for this game is overblown. I think of the hatred of the monetization, yeah, we should double down on that, right? Like this if they took the monetization out of the game, or the aggressive pay for power specific monetization, I don't care about cosmetics, right? Pay for power specific monetization, yeah, if they took it out, this game would be 10 times better. But despite that, I'm having a good time, and I think a lot of other people are having a good time too. So all of these Steam reviews, all this negativity bullshit, just try the game yourself, man. But if you just don't like the game and you write a good review, then I respect the hell out of you, right? Like if you don't like it and you're like, I'm gonna actually go in depth on every single thing, good job, man. We need more people like you who are going to actually talk about the things they dislike instead of game bad, thumbs down. Jesus Christ. Yeah, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you guys are having a good time on this game, and if you're not playing this game, oh well, you know, I just wanted to talk about the review bombing. It's kind of insane that it even happened. Everyone, 07s chat, 07s.